Now let's get into the Alpo situation. I didn't know this happened. I was on a flight early morning, and you called me saying, hey, Alpo got killed last night.
Yeah, I called you because a lot of people called me up Sunday morning, and they were texting me, and they were like, yo, Alpo got killed, did you hear? And I was like, wow, Alpo got killed. And then, he was out here for a long time on the streets after he left the witness protection program. He came after all of those bodies that he was linked to with the government. Mm-hmm. That he probably came on his own to come back to his neighborhood. And people always ask me, why did he come back to his neighborhood? Well, where else is he going to go? Do you think he's going to go and stay in Texas or Wyoming or Canada or somewhere? No, he's going to come back to his roots are. And nobody really bothered with him. But my theory is, and this is my theory in this case, because, there was word that he was shot while driving his vehicle up in Harlem. And they shot at him several times. So whoever shot him definitely wanted to kill him. Right. He was executed. But I believe that he was involved in something, maybe involved in drugs, because there were reports that, there were things that were said that while Alpo was driving his car, that there was something coming out of his car, of his window, like white powder or substances or packages or things like that. That was mentioned. But I believe that since he's been around and doing what he did, something definitely happened that he might have been involved with recently, because he was out here for so long. People could have got him a long time ago and they didn't. So it definitely, it was definitely planned, or somebody definitely wanted to get him. So I don't think it was anything from his past. I just think that it happened, and whatever he was involved with caught up with him.
But don't you think it was only a matter of time, especially with somebody with his track record?
Well, a guy like him, again, with his track record, with all the victims and all the people that he was said to have killed, committed all those homicides back when he was running his organization. It was inevitable, but I don't know if it's the retaliation, because they could have got him a long time ago. Right. So I think it might have been something new that he did that was probably problematic for him, where somebody waited for him and they got him,
Now, what were the calls that you got? Because I've heard, is he alive? Is he not? Is he in the hospital injured?
Well, people were saying a lot of things. They were saying that he was injured and that the feds were cordoning off the whole floor so nobody could see him, and at the hospital. Because really, listen, when you're in a federal witness protection program and you get killed, of course the feds are concerned, because now they have to come out and investigate why you got killed. Was it because of your situation as far as the case is concerned, or was it something else? So the feds were involved, where they had to look into that. But from what I know, from what I'm told, he's deceased. I haven't heard anything about funeral arrangements, though. Have you?
I have not.
I haven't heard anything about funeral arrangements or anything like that. But a lot of people knew him. Listen, he did the movie. The movie Paid in Full was based on his character back then. So he was sort of a person that was well known. Mm-hmm. But like you said, it was just, I think he was involved in something where he might have got caught up in something that he wasn't able to handle, right, and it resulted in his death.
Could it be a situation, I hate to sound like almost like a movie, but can it be a situation where he maybe has survived and maybe he's into hiding and the feds just help him hide? Is that something that's possible you could see happening, or no? Well,
it could be possible. It could be, but like I said, I haven't heard about funeral arrangements, so maybe we should look into that, see about there's a body in a funeral home, and see if that's something that's plausible, because like I said, I haven't heard about his funeral arrangements. I know he got killed, but usually you'll hear about his funeral, or you'll be hearing about the coverage, because the news did cover his murder, so I'm pretty sure they're going to cover his burial.
Right.
So, but I haven't heard anything about it.
So if we don't see a funeral or burial,
then I would question. I would say maybe something's up.
Right.
If we don't see a burial or funeral or burial, I would say something might be up. But who knows? Who knows if he's involved in another organization with several people? And that's what I'm thinking. He's involved in another drug organization. What
do you think of if he does have a funeral and his casket being driven around through Harlem. Do you think that'll be upsetting? Do you think it will cause a rot?
Yeah, that might cause some problems, but I don't think they would do that. I think his son was reportedly that he was afraid for his life because I was his father. So I don't think they would do that. I think they would just let people pay their respects and just bury him and call it a day, because I don't think they want any more controversy, any more things come, or would revive old memories of other people, that were killed by him, or families of him, victims that were killed.
Now, any last words as far as the Alpo thing before we move on?
No, Alpo's, this case is pretty much case closed so far, unless something else new comes out of it. But actually, it's not closed in the sense of an investigation of why he got killed, but it's closed in the sense where he's deceased now, so his burial, and then people are going to move on from that. But I think there's more to finding out what happened in his death. That's definitely going to be out there.
You ever met him or came across him?
I saw him one time years ago, but I never really talked with Alpo like that. Never really had that kind of.
Let me ask you this last thing about the Alpo thing. Being that he was the individual that he was, the criminal that he was, do the feds or local law enforcement care to even solve it? Or did you listen, we'll leave it alone?
No, it's still an open homicide, so I'm pretty sure the detectives up there are working on it. Any homicide of anybody is an open case, so they have to work on it. Regardless, they're going to work on it. So, and especially the way he got killed, so I'm definitely thinking that the feds are definitely involved already to find out what happened. So there's a big investigation going on.
Okay. All right, last thing about that one. As far as he got shot, because I hate how people think that they're experts when they look at a crime scene and see how the bullet holes were shot into a car when it was a drive-by. So people automatically, it was a assassin, it was well-planned hit. Well, from what I don't know, you can't really tell that from a drive-by. You can tell that if you get killed by a sniper from a rooftop a block away. That's professional to me. Is there?
Well, the grouping of the shots showed you that it was somebody that intended to shooting him, because the grouping was very tight, and it was in an area where it either hit his head or his mass of his body. But the craziest thing was, and this is crazy, one of the guys told me over the last weekend that the truck that he was driving, there's another guy uptown who had a truck just like that. Same exact model, same exact tires, the same look, and same color, everything. And he could have been mistaken for him, because I think they might have been at the same party, or they might have been at the same area at one time with the trucks. And that person was like, holy cow, holy shit, I could have got shot too, because my truck looks exactly like his.
Wow, that's interesting.
That's very interesting. Somebody told me that.
Wow. Now, any thoughts on Brian? I haven't seen the video personally, but I will after this. Brian Glaze Gibbs goes out to the crime scene. So what has happened? Now, what do you think of that video?
Well, I looked at it and I was like, wow, this guy's doing commentary. He's got a lot of skeletons in his closet, but literally. He was out there doing commentary on Alpo's murder. So I was like, wow, things have changed. Everybody's trying to be into network. I guess everybody's out here trying to be on TV, on YouTube to get famous. But, when I saw that, I was like, wow, so, he knows about murders himself. So he's been out there himself for a long time. So, but I'm not surprised about what happens today with anybody, to be honest with you.
You actually dealt with Brian Glaze Gibbs, no?
I dealt with him years ago, back in the 80s, early 90s.
And what was your experience with him?
Well, with the team I was with, where he was arrested by my partner back in those days for several murders himself.
And what was your impression of him?
Well, he was a drug kingpin himself. He was a drug lord himself back in those days, and he operated out of Brooklyn and East New York, and he committed a lot of violent acts himself. So if anybody knows the streets, he knows the streets. If anybody knows, he knows the streets.
He ever give you shit?
No, I never had that kind of problem with him, and he probably doesn't even remember me like that. Right. I remember him, because I was on the team that took him down.